Thanks for joining us right now at 5. First up tonight, an I-Team investigation. We are tackling sex trafficking, particularly how predators are using some of the most common innocent ways to find children on social media.
And Chief Investigative Reporter Matthew Campbell is taking you step by step to see how easily our children can be approached and how easily they can be led astray.
Well, Mark and Aaron, let's start with stats. According to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, there are between 50 and 60 cases of trafficking reported in our state each year. So we cannot pretend that this is not happening. We want to learn more about how it's happening.
It used to be that traffickers would have to find people out in the real world.
Erin Williamson is the Vice President of Global Programs and Strategy of Love 146. It's a New Haven-based anti-trafficking organization. Nearly every kid has a phone these days, and she says social media has allowed predators to cast a wider net and get uncomfortably close to our kids, and she's going to show us how it's done.
We are still seeing Facebook be one of the more popular platforms for predators to have what I would call their first contact with their victims.
A predator may employ a simple search. Williamson says it's like phishing.
If you go onto Facebook and you type in Jessica Smith, you will get a whole list of kids and some adults, but it is very easy for a predator to look at that list and based on their photos, identify generally who's an adult and who's a kid. And it's very easy for them to friend request anyone that they think is named Jessica Smith and looks like a kid.
If you talk with your kids, there's a good chance they've had these random requests.
Some kids are going to have had talked with their parents, are going to have learned in school about internet safety and might not accept that friend request. But there are going to be some that do accept that friend request. And really that predator only needs 1 or 2 kids to accept a friend request to then go and friend request all of their friends.
Williamson warns that just one person opening that window to a stranger could have a ripple effect.
A couple of kids are going to say, oh, well, they're friends with Jessica Smith. They must be safe.
Another way predators start that fishing expedition is through shared interests.
Finding some commonality with them.
It's a big enough problem in Connecticut where the Newington Police Department has a human trafficking liaison. Sergeant Jason Cicenti says the ways people find that commonality these days is through hashtags.
That's called the scouting phase. They're scouting for their victims.
Hashtags for your favorite artist, your school, they're all innocent enough, but experts say it's how traffickers can find our kids and start a conversation.
And then they just start attacking it and manipulating them and saying, hey, I know you like this concert.
Williamson gives examples of what parents should look out for.
Oh my gosh, you like soccer? I used to play soccer when I was at your high school. So they'll go and they'll look at a middle school or high school and they'll see who's connected to that, who says that they attend.
Williamson has seen cases where traffickers will Google the names of teachers in an attempt to connect that way.
Do you have Mr. So-and-so? Is he still there? Because of course they know. Basically, he was there when I went to your middle school.
Now, if this happens to your child, experts say parents need to tread carefully. It's unrealistic to think our children won't be on social media. So before you give your child advice, make an agreement that phone checks will happen.
You check that phone pretty regularly because that's when they're testing things out. That's when they're learning.
Williamson says it boils down to trust and communication. Don't be afraid to ask questions and be firm.
Who are you talking to online? What's happening? What are you doing? And again, sometimes kids are going to, not want to talk to you, and I get it, and they're not going to be totally % honest, but if you start these conversations young, you make them normal.
So let's say a stranger has entered your child's online friend circle. What happens next? What do the predators do? We're going to tackle that tonight at 11. You may also be sitting at home thinking, this could never happen to my kid, and you could be right, but you may be shocked to learn that our kids are on the receiving end of these phishing techniques all too often. We're going to hear from the kids and learn more on how parents can intervene at 11. For now, Matthew Campbell, Channel 13 News.